Hi. So, it is not Monday, and it is certainly not morning. um, in fact, it is almost 9 o'clock at night. Both of my kids are asleep. My husband is on call tonight. He's not home. He's on a call. And sorry about that. I had quite an interesting day and a very profound experience with my oldest today, and I just really felt the need to share it with you guys. So it was pretty emotional, and I'm excited about it. I'm intrigued by it. I'm surprisingly very calm about it. So anyway, let's just get into it. So, basically lately I've been listening a lot to a woman called Janet Lansbury. She has a blog, it's janetlansbury.com. Mm-hmm. She also has a podcast called Unruffled. And the concepts in it are, it's basically a positive parenting sort of philosophy. And the concepts in it are kind of controversial. I mean, they make sense. I want to say they're backed by research, but I haven't done a lot of that research myself, so I don't really want to claim that until I have seen it for myself. But research that I've done in the past, I can see how it backs it. It's not really culturally something that we're used to, and so I have to admit I was a little skeptical about it, and I believe I kind of talked about it in another one of my Monday Mom Thoughts. But let's back up a little bit. So I've also been reading a book called How to Talk So Your Kids Will Listen and Listen So Your Kids Will Talk. And loving that book also. But the two concepts, they kind of go hand in hand. And so that's why I've been even more intrigued by it. What I like about Janet Lansbury is that her podcasts, she lets people write in that they're having problems, and then she discusses how she would handle them using her parenting philosophy. And basically, we're allowing our children to have emotions. I mean, that's the basic idea around all of it. So we allow our children to get upset when we tell them no. And when they do, we just say, yeah, that really made you upset. That really made you angry that I told you no. Tell me more about that. And it's really strange, and it's really emotionally draining. What I noticed is that I didn't really feel like my daughter was being punished for things that I felt like she should be punished for. And I think when I originally started out trying to do this with her, I expected there to be some magical way that stopped her from misbehaving. You know, I think that's why we as parents read parenting books and read things on discipline and things like that. And really, that's not the point. It's not about stopping them from throwing a fit. It's about allowing them to understand their emotions and know how to handle them, you know? Which is sometimes a concept that even us as adults don't know how to do. We constantly just want to stop our emotions from happening rather than experiencing them and knowing that we're safe in experiencing them and all of that. So like I said, I was really, really, really intrigued by this whole concept. And so, but it did kind of feel like she was starting to go crazy. Like she was not behaving, not listening. We would ask her to do something and she would completely ignore us and walk away. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this child. Part of me was ready to give up on the whole thing. But part of me felt like it hadn't been long enough, I felt like I hadn't given it enough of a go. So I did some more research. I got onto her blog and I started looking for ideas. And as it turns out, she had a woman write in for a podcast who was having the exact same issues with her 4.5-year-old. And I listened very intently. And I didn't really like what I heard because it made it difficult, but at the same time, I understood it and I realized it. So basically what she said was that, she had a 4.5-year-old who would refuse to follow directions. And when she didn't follow directions, it would turn into a fight. And even though she was saying, I understand, I'm here for you. Hold on one second. Sorry, my battery's getting low, so I just wanted to plug it in really quick. My phone. So anyway, even though the mom was following the protocol and saying to her daughter, I understand that you don't like what I'm saying to you. I understand that you don't want to stop what you're doing right now. Tell me about it. Tell me how upset you are about it. She still wouldn't do it. And that was kind of the issue that I was having. It's just I don't really care if she doesn't want to. She has to pick up after herself. She's got to pick up her toys. She's got to put her dirty clothes in. She has to do these things. I can't just let her get it. And she really wasn't having any emotion, So I was just I'm not sure this is the place for this type of conversation. So, what Janet Lansbury suggested was that we physically help them do what they are supposed to do. Ever since my daughter was a toddler, she did not like doing things on her own. In fact, it went from you're going to get a timeout to I'm going to do it for you. And that was generally the motivator. If she needed timeout, she didn't care. If I was going to do it for her, bad story. She does not like to be helped. So when that happened, all that went through my head was, she's going to throw a fit. It's going to be a fight. We're going to be carrying on. And we're talking fights. I mean, this girl gets very, very emotional. Very emotional. Kicking and screaming and so this is what I'm thinking. And then she proceeds to go on and say, culturally, I think we're afraid to help our children do things physically for that purpose. And she believes, and I agree, that the reason for that is that we are more worried about what it means to us as a parent, or about us as a parent, for our kids to get emotional and throw temper tantrums or misbehave. It means something about who we are, but in all honesty, she's a 4.5-year-old girl. Who wants mom to put their shoes on for them when they're 4.5? We can almost expect a 4.5-year-old to not follow directions. You can't. That's normal. And, we can expect them to get emotional and get upset. But for some reason, we think that we're better parents if they don't do those things. So, as she proceeds to talk about, how you physically help them do what they need to do. I got nervous. I'm not going to lie. I got nervous. But I decided I'm going to try that. I'm going to, it doesn't mean anything about who I am as a parent. I do not need to get upset about having to help her. This is just what I need to do. And so, little things I would, if she wasn't listening or didn't turn her head when I was talking to her, I would walk up and I would physically turn her head towards me and just lightly hold her chin and tell her what I was trying to say to her. If she wouldn't do it at that point, I would say, okay, honey, if you're not going to do it yourself, then I'm going to have to help you do it. I'm going to help you do what you need to do. Most of the time, she would do it herself almost immediately because she didn't like the idea of me helping her. And sometimes she would give me some resistance. But then as soon as I would start to actually help her, she would pick up and do it. But today we were at my mom's, and my mom watches children out of her home, and so she has my girls every once in a while too, a couple days a week for like half a day, stuff like that, just a little bit. And some changes have really occurred in her life as well that I don't want to, dive too much into, but basically we've spent less time with her, and she's had less sort of one-on-one time with my kids and me, and I've been emotional about that too, but I've been able to talk to her about it. I've been able to explain that. When we went to leave her house today, and it was unexpected, we didn't plan on going to my mom's house today, but when we went to leave her house today, Peyton, my oldest, my 4-year-old, she got really upset. She was ignoring me when I told her it was time. She was playing a video game with her cousin, and she ignored me, and so I physically took it away, and I said, and she got upset, and I said, yeah, I can see that you're angry about that. I really can. I want to hear more about that. Tell me why you're angry. She just got more and more angry. She didn't want to talk about it. I said, okay, well, we need to put your shoes on, so I really hope that you'll do that by yourself. She wouldn't put her shoes on. She physically ran away. I tried to pick her up, bring her over to put her shoes on. My worst nightmare is coming true. I'm actually physically having to do what she needs to do. I'm 7.5 months pregnant. Not the most comfortable thing. Really shouldn't be carrying around a 4-year-old kicking and screaming. I finally held her and said, listen, I want to hear what you have to say, but I cannot let you go and have you hit me. Like, I cannot let you go and I cannot let go of you right now because you will fall on the ground and hurt yourself, or you will kick and you will hurt me. She didn't hear any of that. Of course she didn't. She was in a rage. She was upset. She was so emotional. She could not hear what I was saying. I finally very gently sat her down and went outside, and I took a break, and I came back in, and she still just was refusing. She was just refusing. So I had to do it. I had to hold her down. I had to put her shoes on. The whole time and I had to physically take her out to the car, carry her out to the car, put her in, hold her down to strap her into her car seat. This whole process probably took me 15 minutes to get her buckled into her car seat. It was, this has happened before. She gets emotional and we have to do it. The only difference this time around was that I was working really hard to not take it personally and simply help her do what she needed to do really calmly, with a calm voice, and stay calm. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It was very emotionally draining for me. And we did finally get her buckled into the car. And she kept saying, I want to say I'm sorry. And I was like, that was interesting. And I said, well, go ahead. I'm not stopping you from saying you're sorry. Go ahead, tell me you're sorry. She said, I don't know how. So at that point, she's so beyond upset that she doesn't know how to stop herself. And I had that thought, like I figured that was the problem. So I helped her. I said, you say, Mom, I'm really sorry for hurting you. I'm sorry for kicking you. I'm sorry for fighting with you. And she said it. She started to calm down. She was still a little upset. So I got in the car and I started driving. And as we're driving around, she started to sound a little better. I said, hey, you sound like you're feeling a little bit better. Are you feeling a little bit better? And she said, no. She's like, I'm scared of the dark. It's too dark. I don't want to go outside in the dark. And so we started talking about all of the lights that are out right now and all of the cool things that you can see in the dark. And so she started looking at all the lights and trying to point out all the lights. And she really calmed down. And then we got home. And it was time to put on jammies. And I was really, really worried. We were going to have another fight on our hands. Like, at this point, I'm so exhausted. Like, I'm in shock that she finally was able to tell me what she needed so that I could help her. I was really surprised by that. But at the same time, I didn't think that, one time of me actually staying calm and following through and doing all this was going to be, the fix it, But she started to get upset, and all I said was, look, honey, I just want to spend a little bit of time with you tonight. So I want to go in and get your and your sister's jammies on and put her to bed. And then you and I can cuddle and we can do whatever you want. She really liked that idea. Just me and you, she said. And I said, yeah, just me and you. And so she loved it. She loved that idea. Got her sister in bed. She put her jammies on. So she did not want to put her jammies on. She actually asked me if I would do it for her, which I was like, that's weird. And I said, yeah. So I very lovingly put on her pajamas. And she picked out a story. We sat down and we read it together. She's starting to read a little bit, and so I picked out some of the words I knew she could read, and she read those to me, and we enjoyed it. And after that, we started talking, and I said, can we talk? Can we talk now? Is this a good time? And she said, yeah. And I just said, it seemed like you were having a really hard time leaving Yaya's today. That's what she calls her grandma. And she said, yeah, I really miss her. And I just wanted to cry, like, here's my 4-year-old telling me how sad she is that she has to leave her grandma's house because she misses her. She misses spending time with her. And so I said, yeah, it's been really hard lately to just get some one-on-one time with her. And even though she goes over there a couple days a week, there's other kids there the whole time, taking up so much of her time. And so I talked about it. I said, well, how can we fix that? What would you like? And she said, I want to go over there and I want to spend the night there without Dason, so my nephew lives with her. And she wanted to spend time with Yaya without him. And so I said, well, let's call her. Let's call her and figure out how we can do that. And so I called her and I said, hey, is there any way that we could have Dason come spend the night at our house and Peyton come sleep over at your house so that it's just the two of you? My mom said, yeah, that sounds really good because I'm missing her too. And they both started to cry, her and my mom on the phone. So I started to cry. It was just a very emotional moment. And then as soon as that was decided and we all had our little emotional moment, Peyton grabbed the phone and she goes, yeah, Mama's gonna laugh now. And I was just like, Okay. And like, how do you not laugh at that? It was just the cutest thing. Mama's gonna laugh now. A few minutes later, she said it again. Yep, Mama's gonna laugh again. And and I did, of course. You laugh at your kid. But she was able to communicate to me something she's been very upset about, something she's been processing, something that's been really hard for her at 4 years old. And I've not taught her this. I've not taught her how to do this. All I did was try to talk to her a little bit and listen to what she had to say and let her deal with her emotions and not make her think that they were wrong or that she shouldn't be having them or shouldn't be acting that way. It was just a really profound thing to have happened. And I needed to get it out. I needed to share it with you. I took her to bed after that and we cuddled and I watched her fall asleep, and it's just one of those parenting moments that was so beautiful, that you crave and you love and you cherish, and it happened after a night that could have gone terribly wrong, like just terribly wrong. So I encourage you to check out Janet Lansbury and her information. Her work is based on the advice given by Magda Gerber, so you can look up that as well. And I do want to talk more about the book, How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk, in another one, but this one has been going on for 22 minutes, and I need to start relaxing and get myself ready for bed. So I'm going to talk to you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed listening to me.